Well, drug overdose deaths in the United States are rising and have been on the upswing for the past 2 decades. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, in 2021, there were more than 106,000 drug overdose deaths in the U.S. Moreover, drug overdose death rates were higher than the previous year for all age groups 25 and over. So, what is being done to tackle the issue and help save lives, and could faith play a role in this battle? Well, joining us now to talk more about this is Gary Blackard, President and CEO of Adult and Teen Challenge, a Christian group focused on addiction and recovery. Gary, thank you so much for being with us today. We appreciate it. We mentioned the startling number of overdose deaths in the United States, but sadly, the number of people who have substance use disorder or addiction is really much greater than that. Talk to us more about that in this epidemic that just seems to be getting worse every year.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me. It absolutely is getting worse every year. SAMHSA just reported 46.6 million people have self-reported as having alcohol or substance use disorders last year. And so when you think about 46 million Americans that have identified as having a use disorder, we have a major problem in our country. And you just mentioned the overdose deaths, but in reality, if you add alcohol or any of the other drugs to the number of deaths there, we're well over 225,000 deaths per year.
And Gary, what do you think is causing so many people these days to use and abuse substances? And give us maybe a sense of some of who these people are.
Yeah, it's a great question. You know, our profiles are different from across the nation, and frankly, they impact every area of life, all generations, and those in different types of work, et cetera. And so what we are seeing is there's a struggle right now with a sense of purpose, a sense of meaning in life, a sense of identity. There's a huge problem with identity in the United States. There's a pain and a trauma problem that people are trying to medicate. And so what we're seeing for the first time in our ministry, and we've been around 65 years, is the levels of trauma and the levels of mental health concerns are skyrocketing. And as a result, people are turning to alcohol and drugs for those issues. And we're seeing it with older men, older women, mothers, fathers, adolescent boys and girls across the board. We're seeing these mental health concerns and this lack of meaning and purpose in life.
Yeah, it really is sad and really spans the gamut. Gary, what can be done to help folks who are suffering from a substance use disorder, you know, be it drugs or alcohol, and how can faith play a role in recovery?
You know, a lot can be done. And I think people, first of all, need to realize we need to get rid of the stigma, especially within the church. We need to get rid of the stigma of what addiction is, what alcohol and substance use disorder is. Listen, Christ came to heal the sick, heal diseases, and forgive sins, and cleanse us all from sin. So it doesn't matter what the views are. It matters how can we show the love of Christ to those suffering with addiction. And typically, you need to attack it from 4 different elements of life: biological, psychological, sociological, and spiritual. And that's where we believe the power is a faith-based approach, ensuring that people suffering with addiction get their spiritual lives in order just as much as their physical and psychological lives in order. And we believe Christ is the answer for all of those elements. And so we look to help people build their identity, understand that their pain can go away and be transformed. And really, through group counseling, through individual counseling, through work therapy, a variety of different programming, we believe that the holistic or comprehensive approach is by far the best approach. And we need to be at the table with the government at the federal level, all of the state levels. We need to be at the table. The faith-based institutions need to be at the table so that we can attack this collaboratively together to help these Americans struggling with addiction.
Yeah, it's so important. It's important work that you're doing. We're almost out of time, Gary, but quickly, I know that tomorrow you're going to be taking part in a substance abuse summit. Tell us more about this gathering, why it's important, and what you hope comes from it.
Sure, absolutely. Well, it's the Hope and Recovery Summit. Why Faith Matters is the theme. We have partners and speakers from the Mayo Clinic, from Duke University, American Bible Society, Salvation Army, Citygate Network, just a variety of different organizations coming together to have a series of talks on how faith can help in the addiction crisis and how we want to come alongside and engage with federal agencies and state agencies. So that's what we're doing tomorrow at the Library of Congress. We're very excited about it. We're also going to be talking about a long-term partnership with Salvation Army and Citygate Network, where our three organizations are looking at the possibility of measuring evidence-based outcomes together, where all three of us would look to measure not only the standard evidence-based outcomes, but faith-based outcomes, so that we can show the world that faith does matter.
Well, Gary, thank you for taking the time to speak with us about all of this. We appreciate it. God bless you.
God bless you. Thank you very much.